Well, it is nice to meet you. To start, would you like to say your names and where you are?
My name is Kaire Talviste and I am from Estonia. And we are right now in Estonia.
Yes, and my name is Oliver Baiocco. I am originally from Germany, but now I'm in Estonia.
Okay. And since you are there together, can you tell me a little bit about who you are to each other? What is your relationship?
First, we were
Colleague,
colleagues,
colleagues, yes.
colleagues. Then friends,
Yes.
and now we are partners. Two. But we did this ladder step by step, very slowly.
We did it, yes, very thoroughly and tested the field and got to know each other and then it developed step by step into this relationship between two Gestalt therapists.
And we met in Italy.
Okay.
So we have
Yes.
a triangle of relationship: Italy, Estonia, and Germany.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, would you each like to say something about what the other person means in your life? I mean, who are you to each other?
Oh, I'm not prepared for this question.
I would like to hear that
No,
now.
you can start.
I can start. Okay. Um, I think Oliver for me is my ground in my life, and I was looking for this nice and meaningful ground as a partner, as a also relationship wise. I was very aware what I wished for, what I needed, and I was also aware that I would like to have a partner who is Gestalt therapist because for me, Gestalt therapy is more than a therapy. It is the way of living and has been long time my passion, and I was looking for a person who would be also a therapist. But the possibilities in Gestalt world are not so let's say
Spread.
spread, yeah. So it's either there are not enough men or they are already taken, and of course you also need to like that person. So the many levels you need to go through, and then I met by accident. I met Oliver in Milan in further education, what we were both choosing, and it was a very lovely meeting, and little by little I got to know him, and then I realized, yes, this is the person I was looking for, and in so many levels we are meeting, really. I would say that he's the love of my life and human who I was searching for, and I think we all are searching for the really nicely fitting partner in our life. So I found mine, and he's my ground. He's my is sometimes he's my teacher. Sometimes he's my critique. Sometimes he's a cook in my kitchen and helps me to raise my children. But mostly we are discussing a lot about Gestalt and we are reading the books. Sometimes we are reading the same book parallelly in different languages. And this creates a lot of life into my life. This kind of meeting, communication, relationship is very rich experience for me. So means a lot for me.
Who was it? This German Gestalt therapist who we read the last time. I can't remember.
I can't remember
Well,
the
maybe you know.
name.
Yeah. Ah. And I remember when we met. Jim Kepner was our trainer at that time,
Hmm.
and it was for me. It was a dream to meet him, because it was one of my first book which I read in my past, in my biography of Gestalt therapist. And then it was very nice. And one time we needed to come together in couple, and she came to me and asked me to do couple work. I didn't dare that in that time, and so we did also couple work, and that was somehow the beginning. We needed to do some energy work, and so we were energized by Jim Kepner exercise.
Like a Gestalt marriage.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, it's nice. I'm your ground somehow. I thought maybe you are my creativity somehow, and my my chaos in creating different figures. I need to do that. And somehow, of course, you are also my ground because I have the same. I also looked for no Gestalt therapy is as Pearl said, it's not a technique. So Gestalt therapy is an art. He said one time in one book, and for me, it's a way of living, really, and everyday life, and also a way of failing and too, and we have some friends and also colleagues who can't understand that we want to have a Gestalt therapist as a partner. And indeed, it's none one day is passing without Gestalt, without discussing. When she's coming from the office and immediately she needs to share, and unfortunately we can't have together as a supervisor but we have so many supervisor hours meanwhile together, and so it is a topic, everyday topic, and also when somebody is a little bit insecure or is not feeling very nicely after session, and maybe also doubting, and the partner is there, and also to support sometimes only with being there, and sometimes also helping to understand the situation in the process, also theoretically. Yes, and she's very good in diagnosis. I like sometimes when I have clients, I'm working very intensely with clients. I'm also body therapist, and I like to do exercises. They Gestalt diagnosis work, and she is better than that. So, and she's sometimes helping me to understand what is a pattern, what is an overview, and so on. And so it's we are helping each other.
But you are very good on this. Oliver is very good on this field experience and to picking up this what is going on and responding to that very nicely. I lack that ability sometimes. I'm not so quick, and he's working really on the contact boundary,
Hmm.
really sharply and precisely. So this what I'm learning from him every day when we are working together, because we're working together with international couples, and we are also doing this group work together, and then it's yeah.
And that's great. The group work is really great to do that with generally with groups and also with her. And
It is fun to
but
have a partner for that.
yeah, it's yes.
And
And
and not so easy every time.
oh,
No.
It can be very challenging. I wouldn't have imagined that with doing group work with your partner can be so challenging,
So it's
because
like
it's really
raising 30 children together.
uh,
but not also together.
yeah.
Also together. It's
Mhm.
sometimes we have had also arguments after
Yeah,
group work.
yeah. And
Mhm.
sometimes we also, what we have had, when we have couples who are really in fight and they leave the room, then we can have a slightly this repetition of their fight, and then
Mhm.
we realize that we picked it up from the field.
It's something like the
Yeah, counter
transference, yes,
transfer.
yeah.
Yeah, we need to calm down and not to discuss it right away after session. because it's too hot. When we calm down, then we can speak. That yeah, this is one thing what I have observed when working with your partner.
Mhm. So this is something about you as a team, then, as a couple and as partners on a lot of levels. But who are you as individuals? What would you say about yourselves? I mean, what are your values or your passions, or who are you?
Start you. You
No,
are
no.
older than me.
Thank you, thank you. No, start you.
No, I started before. Now you.
Okay. So, as I said before, I'm originally a social scientist. I studied political science economy in Germany and in Italy. And during my study, I also met something not scientific, politically connected, but I was aware, okay, behind topics, behind theories, there are people, human beings. And during my study, I worked also in the education system with teenager or young adults. And I was so keen on lecturing, and I prepared myself so much and with theory, with books and so on, and did a very nice program. And I was standing in front of these teenagers, and I realized, oh, there I missed the other part, being human as a lecturer, but you also to see these human beings. And it was so, and then I want to make it a little bit shorter, and then I started with a training in some similar psycho drama, and it was my first experience in self-development, in also in pedagogical and also in therapy work, and it was amazing for me because until then I worked with my head, learning theories of political science, political philosophy and so on, and economy. And so it was a new universe for me in being and thinking, and so and somehow I met also Gestalt therapy through different ways. Maybe I want to mention one very important man for me. It was Martin Goldstein. Martin Goldstein was trained by Simkin. Meanwhile, Martin Goldstein is dead. He was very old. And I wasn't Gestalt therapist when I met him the first time, but I was amazed about him. And he did something very different in speaking and perceiving, in giving feedback and being in contact. And at that time, I didn't know that it's Gestalt. Okay, I knew he was a doctor of medicine, a psychoanalytic, a psychotherapist, and also Gestalt therapist. But I had not really an idea what was going on there with this guy. And I was together with him in a project, something different. And I was trained by him without being a student of Gestalt therapy. And until now, he is somehow inside me. I have also at home one picture of him, and that's
So what of him is inside you? What did you learn there?
um, being kind, being precise, being real, authentic, authentic in every way, authentic in your anger, authentic in your love, authentic in meeting, being close together, also in feeling sadness and everything. So and not only speaking about something, but also maybe in doing in this moment. Not only I am sad, so but also to say, okay, what does it mean for me? What I'm feeling towards you now. And we had, because we were in group work, we had groups to work together, and that is this direct contact with human beings, and not only with human beings, with myself, and also with my legs, and also with my wishes, my dreams, and my so. And And therefore, I came in contact with Gestalt not as a psychotherapy, but as a way of being, way of living, a way of perceiving the world. Yeah.
And what about you? Who are you? What are your values? What do
Yeah.
you?
Mm. I was originally I have been a journalist,
Hmm.
and also I did career as a journalist in Estonia, so I went the ladder up and I became then editor-in-chief at the end of Psychology magazine. But parallelly, I also started to study Gestalt in Denmark, and and I wasn't aiming to become a therapist at first, and I was looking for help for myself, and then I found by accident I found Gestalt in Estonia. There was some weekend courses, and I joined, and I was so amazed of this experience that I got. I was so touched, so I couldn't stop. I continued going from one weekend to the other weekend, and then at the end, there was a question how to continue developing in a new way. So I entered education, and then one day it took some time, but one day I finished, and I became a therapist by myself. And I was very amazed of Gestalt through my studies. I had a lot of different kind of teachers, a lot of different influences and inspiration. And then suddenly my career as journalist ended, so I had to choose what to do next. And I thought, okay, when life is creating me that kind of situation, either you do it or not, then I chose to start to work full time as a therapist. And it's not easy in Estonia to have only to work only as a therapist, but somehow I have managed to do that. And now I also continuously I'm writing for magazines when comments are needed, and I also have written some books, and this I would like to do also in the future more. But this mainly I'm working with my partner now on the field of therapy, and yeah, this is.
And she is overbooked, and she's so good, I need to say. And she has a very hard topic with she's working on violence, and for me it's sometimes it's unbearable what about the stories what she's telling me. It's very hard. I couldn't do that in that extent.
Hmm.
Mm.
So you've both spoken a bit about how you also met Gestalt, but I'm curious about other aspects of your life. Is there a moment or a set of circumstances that you would say really changed or made a significant impact in who you are?
As I said before, my I have actually have three professions. My first profession is I'm a technical, industrial technical. I learned it in a factory. I worked in a factory, and then I wanted to do something else, and I needed to do my A level after that in a university. So I changed. I'm coming from a worker family, so I'm the first one who studied. So I didn't know what is university when I was 15. So, and then I decided, okay, I want to do something else. That was my first change, a very big change. And I know I remember so clearly when I was in university, it was so huge experience. Or just sitting down and reading and having a lecture and discussing. It was big for me because I haven't had it never before. And my father, he was a great man, very hard worker. Also, my mom, very hard worker, but nobody knows what is in university. So that was my very first big change. The second change was really entering through psychodrama work and then Gestalt in this therapy world. And what I can do, I can combine both fields, social science and psychology. And maybe the last change was 2, 3 years ago when I was quite ill, and and I changed again completely my life. I worked for 22 years in organizations, in social organizations, in different positions, leading position also, and I couldn't go back because of my health reasons. And I said, okay, now I want to do that what I ever wanted to do. I want to work as a Gestalt therapist, and that now is my third change in my world. Is revolving somehow my life.
Yeah, he has so nice stories to tell about. I was thinking at the same time, what shall I say? But what I came out with is I think that I have changed through love, mostly, or through my love relationships, and I think that it began with my love to my parents in my childhood, and it wasn't easy love, and I felt that I want to grow up very quickly and to leave this place behind and never look back and never to open that door anymore, and it will not influence me. But I couldn't create a better scenario somehow. I was so sure I can do it, but it looked very similar at one moment when I experienced my marriage with my first husband, and it made me quite sad about what went wrong. I didn't understand it really, and through that pain what happened in my relationship, I started the journey in Gestalt, and it was very healing process for me, and but it didn't save my marriage. So it's still I did many changes during my studies, and one very big step what I did, I divorced, and it wasn't done. This decision wasn't done in a hurry, or it was really, it somehow build it up itself. But then after that I loved again. I thought first maybe it never happens, but it still happens also after painful experiences. But this love that I have experienced has been very different kind, and again partly very hurtful, and still so much with the potential of development. I think mostly I have developed through this love that I have experienced in my life. And now I continue, as you see, through love, I continue evolving and changing constantly. And I'm sure if I wouldn't have chosen that journey with Gestalt, I would be very, very different person today. But this also, all the people I have met during my journey have shaped my way. Everyone little by little, but at the end, if you do a little change, then in time it will be a big shift. And I experience myself very much different from the times when I was younger. Of course, we develop anyway, but this how I see the world, or what attitudes I have, is I'm quite happy for that journey.
So I'm curious, how do you see the world? What do you mean by that?
I see I see the world often as full of potential and possibilities. And for myself, what I have done, I have put me some goals, and then when I reach them, I see it's possible. And sometimes it seems impossible, but anyway I will do it. And I see now, I'm very sure that we can do a lot in our lives when we have courage. Of course, we need to also to pay price for some choices what we are making, and we need to exclude some possibilities, which would be also fun to have. But this is what we need to choose. We need to have courage to choose and to go for what we think is important or necessary for us to do. So and this why we also do sometimes things what we would say it's not possible, but we do it anyway. And one thing what we started with Oliver is that we created a center in Estonia, this Estonian Gestalt and Training Center. And we never had in Estonia an institute where we can study Gestalt. All our Gestalt therapists have been educated in Denmark. And now, first time in history, we are creating the center to also spread this education among Estonian people even more. But not only in among Estonian people, also international wise, because the study what we are creating will be in English.
And that is what I said before. She's a chaos and creative, crazy guy in our. Because this first time when she mentioned, oh, we could create something in Estonia, I said, yes, of course we could. So
We
it
could,
was,
but do we want to?
and I was shocked. I was really shocked. You want to do that? You want to create a school? You know how many people are working as a lecturer, people who are working for 20, 30 years as a Gestalt therapist, have written a lot of books, and you want also to create a school. I was really shocked. But at the end, she won. Yes.
Yeah. But I was actually my idea was coming from this deep feeling that how beneficial Gestalt can be for people, and I would like to spread that knowledge, and this and I would like to also spread Gestalt ideas in Estonia among people who are working with other people. It would be so needed to understand and to feel oneself and also the other in facing the problems. For me, it has been very helpful knowledge from Gestalt how to work, and this I also see it from my clients that when we meet and they experience something new and feel themselves again, that they are quite inspired by this way of working. And in Estonia, we have not so many Gestalt therapists, and not all people who have graduated as Gestalt therapists work as therapists now. But the ones who are working, they are very wanted. And it's like a secret that, okay, this person is there and working with that topics, and people are sharing it between each other. But I would like to bring it also more visible in society, that how important work we are doing and how good it is for.
I'm interested in that. Why, how, why, what purpose? How does Gestalt make sense in Estonia? What is that? Why? Why does it work there? What part of the collective field, the need, the culture, what does
Yeah.
Gestalt bring or
I
bring
think
out?
I think Gestalt works in every culture,
But
not only in
in
Estonia.
different ways. It's not
Yeah, yeah,
universal. It's not
yeah.
universal at all.
Yes, but I think what is maybe a difference when I compare with other professionals is the way how we are working with feelings,
Mm.
and also this dialogical approach that I am a human being. I'm not a lecturer here for a client or teaching 1, 2, 3 and then it's fixed. But I'm really included to this process as another human being
Mhm.
with my senses and with my wish to understand and encourage the person to continue doing some steps. And this might be something refreshing for people, because our culture is very much influenced by Soviet time. In Estonia, it was this top-down attitude from doctors, from other helpers, and this maybe this is still somehow in our society, and that you don't maybe dare even to say what is your problem because you're afraid what judgment comes, or why did you come too late and you should have been dealing with that issue already earlier. And this kind of, sometimes from doctors you can hear it, that okay, but this, I didn't know, maybe I didn't know how, where to go, or what to do. And I think this is important for people to feel included, and also not to be evaluated somehow because of their problems. But it can happen. I think it can happen.
And how
Yeah.
is it for you, Oliver, to be doing this there? Because I'm also living and working in a place I was not born, in a language that was not my first language. So,
It's not easy because I'm not speaking Estonian, and Estonian is not an easy language, especially for me. And so I'm doing it in English when we have couples, and we have couples. It's so interesting because from the States, from I have had one individual client from Nepal and Croatia and Poland and so on and so on. That is quite nice. So that's the one part. But we are also working with Estonians when we are doing our group work, 3 weekends in a row. And so I think it's also dependent on the generation, because we have sometimes quite young guys, people 25, 27, 28. I think there is the culture difference is not so big. I think the culture is big, the difference is bigger when the people are a little bit older on the one side. On the other hand, is I think also for men it's a little bit difficult here in Estonia to create their own being a man. What does it mean? What does it mean? It's everywhere. It's a question for us as a man. What does it mean to be a man nowadays? Nowadays. So, and there is but I can observe that it's the way of meeting, the way of having trust and changing so opinions and so on is a little bit different. So, but I know it because I am half German, half Italian. So when I compare to Germany, the gap is not so big. But when I compare to Italy, the gap is more broader. So, and so the way also how people are meeting and giving trust, it is a little bit different in the everyday life, and I think also in therapy. But I need to say, we have had so good experience with our groups. Yes, only in 9 days, in within 3 months, we could see all the development of the people to open, and the people are looking for that. They want to have this space where they can be vulnerable, the field of trust, and so on. And I think that is not really a big difference between the countries. I think that is very human. I want to be acknowledged. I want to be seen in my strength. I want to be seen also in my failure and in my weakness. I think that is everywhere. Of course, we have a little bit different between. I don't know. I don't know how it is in South America. I don't know where the Gestalt therapy is, but a little bit I know in Europe how the differences are. So we have something in common. And I think that Gestalt therapy can give is this very humanistic point of view. Okay, you as a human being in an existential way. So, and I'm curious. Sometimes
so
I'm
you
sitting
you
there.
you touched on another question that I do have, which is how do you understand yourselves in terms of gender, or as a man or as a woman, or however you experienced yourself?
It's very interesting because okay, now we are, it's, I'm hesitating because it's a very personal question. Yes. And I met Kaire in a situation where I was burned out. Yes, and that means meeting a woman for me as a man when I need to say, okay, I have a health problem, and maybe I need to change my life, I need to change my work, I don't know how much I can earn, and so on and so on. So, and to open with that in front of a woman who you like. So, and this was quite daring for me. And the other point what I remember, Kaire is working in the field of violence. And sometimes we have a big discussion because, of course, there are numbers. We have numbers. We have that the main part of the violence is coming from men in a lot of countries, maybe in all countries, also in Germany and also in Estonia. And sometimes when we have the discussion, I feel how I automatically I want to support the man, to saying, okay, not all men are like that. On the other side, so automatically I want to
I
solidarize.
don't imagine that you like it if he says not all men.
No. No, I don't know why you're fighting with me every time because I'm not gender biased. I I know the statistics, of course, and I'm dealing a lot with violence against women and children. But I also have had clients, male clients who are also victims of violence. So for me, not the gender is the most important, but the violence as an act is important. And my work is channeled to the direction that there would be less violence and less of this destroying outcome for people. And of course, but when I'm speaking about some cases at home, and mostly the man is there, the one who did something, what can I do? I can't also deny the reality of that. And I think that, of course, men need help, boys need help. But some people are not so easy to help anymore when they are over 40 and not interested of change. So I can help victims. And, um,
And
and
so how
this,
do you understand yourself in terms of
yes, I think that I'm not every day thinking about this, that I'm a woman firsthand. But this mostly I'm seeing myself as a human being.
But
But
a lot of times they told me, okay, I can feel, you're also in Estonia, how I'm touching this invisible wall. Yes, because there is also for you, for women here in Estonia, there are the boundaries of career and something
yeah.
else.
Yes,
Yes.
of course, this I have experienced in Estonia, that when you want, as a woman, you want to go higher, that somehow is not so easy as for men. And sometimes communication towards you as a woman can also be influenced by that, that you are not really equal. And but what is the saddest part of it, what I have experienced, is that other women are doing this also towards women, and this
Mhm,
is something in society is very invisibly floating all the time like a fog.
mhm,
And this makes me really sad sometimes, how I need to explain some things. And I have a very good friend um, who is specialist in human rights and gender rights and so on. And we often discuss this, how to, what can we do, what can we change, and I'm thinking about some social initiatives, how to bring this topic more into focus for people, that we would understand, because no one is winning of that contradiction, or men or women, but is how to support both in the way that nowadays the young boys who are raised, that they wouldn't have that problems when they are grown-ups, that they would have also the potential to have fulfilling relationships, how to be in there. how to participate, how to be open, how to show yourself what is going on inside of you. And I'm working also with men a lot, Estonian men who are not violators. Not everyone is violator, and it's very interesting to see how they sometimes they tell me very, for me, very normal stuff, and then they say I haven't told it to anyone. Then I say, okay, now pack your stuff, go home and tell it to your partner.
Mhm.
Next time I'm asking, did you tell her? Oh, no, no, I turned another direction. I didn't go at home at all. So it's not easy for men to open up about what is happening inside of them in Estonia. And this, I think, creates most of the trouble also in relations. Also, violence is one part, but the other part is how men are raised in Estonia to be silent, to be hardworking, and to manage all this economical stuff. But what comes to the emotions and sharing oneself, they are not so. Um, they don't know how to do it, I think. But little by little they are learning, and then I think it's getting better. You have experienced them in our courses
Yeah,
also.
it
Some
was,
men,
it
it's
was
very
great.
nicely
Yeah,
opening up.
yeah, we met some guys, very great,
Mm.
great guys. So it's
Yeah.
not only dark or
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah. So you are, I suppose you could say, in a bit of a position of power, holding an institute and shaping the programs. So how do you understand power and privilege in your lives?
I, as I am a social scientist, power was every time a topic. And when I entered the psychological fields and the social field of social worker and pedagogues, it was somehow not discussed. And I say, what are you doing there? Of course, when two people are coming together, there are power in the room. Of course, there's power in the room. So not visible maybe, then and based on different topics. So for me it's normal that every time there is power, we need to deal with power, and maybe that is also what I am doing is also to name it when we are in groups, when there's some situation is not clear, a little bit foggy, not outspoken, and I try with my questions and with trying to be aware of what is going on now, what is so that for me is power is one element of human being, and denying it, and we have some social movements who are trying to deny it, yes, or in the past. We are all one family, we are all very nice to each other,
Yes,
and so
everything is
on.
horizontal.
Yes, 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 and no hierarchy and so on. It's a big lie, yes. So the power is sometimes very open because I have more money, I have more space, I have more knowledge, I have a lot of very big social network. So it's implicit or explicit. So for me, it's very important that we also, as psychotherapists, Gestalt therapists, we are dealing with that. We need to deal with that. And also, what does it mean in our session rooms? Yes. One of my favorite German Gestalt therapists is Frank Stemmler. Is also said we have a symmetric asymmetric situation. We want to be symmetric because we want to meet as human beings.
It sounds nice.
So, but on the other hand, there is somebody coming and asking, I need your help. Tell me, what can I do? What shall I do? So, and of course, after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years working with people, you have some knowledge. So, and you need to do every day, you need to deal with that. Having the power in this room to say something or not to saying something, to intervene with something or not to intervene something. It's your decision. So, and it's for me it's normal and it need to be worked on in supervision or intervision, and that we are really okay. Power in human beings is one side of the same medal.
Yes, I stayed thinking of that. For me, power is also very much connected with responsibility. So if we have more power, we need to be responsible for what we are doing and how we are acting. And also, what I have experienced, what is important for me is not that you don't ever make a mistake, but you are courageous enough to admit that you made a mistake. And it's not easy, but it's important when you have a position where you are teaching someone else and you're making mistake, that you dare to say so. And it's also taking responsibility.
So there's
Not
something
always.
in that power of being vulnerable again as well.
Yeah, exactly. That we are not almighty, I think. And we don't know everything and all the answers. And constant learning, I think, also how to deal with that. Also between us, huh? We have had some power struggles as couples too, so it's
I'm
sometimes
shocked.
it's I believe you are. But it's so funny when you have read the books and you know how the couple dynamic is going, and then you are doing it and you can't get out of it. Of course. But it's so, and it's also somehow
As
funny.
today we will be living chapter 3.
Yeah, exactly. And but it's so also when you detect yourself on doing that, then it's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, at least you can laugh about it. That's
Of course.
something that you said that you both do, and I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So I am also curious.
Maybe I wanted to, what is important also as with a therapist, as a human being, but also as a trainer. I have been blamed and bullied 2 times in my education. And it was so hard for me. I was a very young Gestalt student. Even in one training, it wasn't Gestalt, it was my coaching education. And I was very naive and but willing to learn something, very happy to be there. And on the one, I'm curious, and sometimes I like to fight on the knowledge wise. Yes, to ask what do you mean with this, also to confront a little bit your teacher. And I did it one time in my coaching education, and this guy was so angry with me. But what he did is he didn't speak anymore with me, and he created an atmosphere where I was something like the black sheep of the group. And in the beginning I didn't realize it, and then slowly I was somehow excluded, and it hurted me so much when you see you are part of the group, 20 people, and there is a grandmaster of a trainer, and he was a clever guy, of course. You know, he was much more experienced and brighter than me, of course. But as but he did a very big mistake because he used his power to exclude me. And it's not about me; it's about everybody else. And I will never forget this situation, how I felt. And I needed 10, 15 hours of supervision to go through this experience. And that is very important. That yeah, for me as a trainer, it's not the most important is not to have a lecture about the context cycle. Of course. But for me, in the training, it's important that I have human beings there. Yes, and there are when they are beginning the training, everyone is different, but they are naive, maybe in the good sense of being naive. They are open, they are daring, they are closed, they are everything, and I have a responsibility as a teacher. Yes, everywhere to see what I am doing as a teacher has a big effect, an impact on my students. And that is a very, very big point what is needed to talk about also in our community. Because I can destroy as a trainer, I can destroy people.
That is the dark
And
side of the power.
yes, and I
Mhm,
have witnesses as a student.
mhm,
And that is, I will never forget it, and I hope I will never do it.
mhm. Well, it's shaming as a social control
Yeah,
and to hide, usually that I don't know the answer to your challenging question.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That is,
Hmm.
and that is also power. Yeah, you have a lot of power as trainer, as a psychotherapist. You have power.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we would like to avoid to harm people with our actions. That is that people heal themselves, and when they have done their education, they feel that they are in their own power, that they don't need to heal after meeting with us in
Well,
some new
I
way.
think that's unavoidable. I mean, we won't do it right because we're doing it as human beings. But I think that's where Yontef talks about repair, a willingness
Yeah.
to repair what will inevitably go wrong because we're human beings.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. So have you faced any particular challenges in your own training and experiences? Yeah, that you-
Of course, I had so many different teachers, and of course, I also experienced different kind of attitudes and things that were not so good for me, what needed to be digested long after they happened, and how to make peace with that. That really also the teachers are just human beings to, because as a student you put teachers to the pedestal, you think they know everything, they are the best, they are masters, they never fail, and when they fail, of course, it's a big disappointment. And I think this part of the growth, that you see also your teachers as just human beings, and you take them as somehow also as parents when you make peace with them. That first, as I said to you, that close the door, never look back. Okay, I needed to open the door again because of my studies, and to make peace with how they were. And this is, I think, good process is needed also. So yeah, I have learned a lot from my experiences, maybe what I would like to do and also what I would like to avoid to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm. And so what is the other pole of that experience? What would you say each of you is a particular memory that stays with you in a positive sense? Like a time that you met someone and this happened and it stays with you.
Yeah, during the training, you mean?
Mhm. A training or a session or what stays with you? I mean, I've been amazed when I was interviewing people about Laura Pearls. They can remember 50 years ago where they were sitting, what they were wearing, and exactly what she said.
Mm.
It's like, oh, that's powerful.
I get this memory very often comes to me. I had a teacher, Inger Hapaniemi, she was, and for now she's dead. But I got very anxious during one session, and it was the time was about closing the session. It was not so much time anymore left, and I told her that I'm very anxious now, and I was thinking about the future and so on. And she invited me to sit in front of her in the group, and I was just looking into her eyes, and this was just a moment of looking each other, and she was so present, so calm, and so there, that I could feel how, without any words, without any explanation, without any big fuss, I could come down to myself again, to find my center again. So this was one moment what often comes back to me. But I have very beautiful experiences also from the works, how it develops from one place to another, and your therapist is guiding you. This somehow is growing like a plant or something. It's very interesting to experience. How did this happen? I started from here and I ended a totally different place. and a lot of acceptance of what I experienced, what was shameful for me, but for therapist was very normal, and this support was very much influencing, developing me as I am right now. So it has been a very inspiring journey, and I often look back to the teachers with thankful heart, because I know I wouldn't be that person who I am right now without their support, even though they did some mistakes.
Their imperfect support.
I need because of Martin Goldstein. I already told you my experience. It was very big for me, and during my education, the second or third year, I can remember when we ended this part. The second or third year ended with this diploma of Gestalt counselor, and it was very nice. It was a very nice group feeling. It was being 2 years together every 2 months and going through a lot of self experience. And we have very nice trainer also. And I remember when I finished this part of Gestalt counselor, and I planned to go further with Gestalt therapy education, more 3 years. But I felt so great and so intelligent and so prepared. Nowadays I would say, oh, it was very narcissistic. so, and so it was quite. I think it was quite nice in the beginning that as a teacher you need also to take this as a normal part of development. Yes, and I think okay.
I think they call that not narcissistic, but I think that's empowerment.
Yeah, I think from my side it was a little bit narcissistic, but as we know, there is something also a good sign of being having narcissistic feelings, yes, and stance, because you need it to go through, to go further, yes. And I think okay, I will do also my fourth and fifth years, but the main thing I have already learned. So of course now I can say, my God, how naive I was. But it was nice, and it was very naive. And maybe the second thing, what touched me very much is not so 2 years ago, I was in a therapy, and it wasn't a Gestalt therapist. He was a therapy of psychodynamic, but he worked quite similar as we as Gestalt therapists. It was great to see him. But again, at the beginning he said, and it crashed me. Somehow I was really I couldn't understand this. Also as a client, but also as a therapist, he said to me, Oliver, I can't heal people. I can't heal people. And maybe after our 20, 30 hours, we need to say, okay, we didn't reach our goal. And this sentence is still in me, because I can observe myself, and I'm going in the session, and there is some client, maybe new client, I won't help him, and that is so hard. How to deal with that? Because of course, officially we know that we are supporting people, yes, but I can't really help him. And it was a shock when my therapist told me, I can't heal you. And then I wanted to say, but what I'm doing here, why are you taking my money? So, and this is still a big question, because every day I'm going inside my session room and my office, and I want to heal, and it's still a fight in me.
This is a paradoxical theory. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Be broken.
Yeah.
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 So another question, just for the two of you from where you are, do you feel part of a Gestalt community? What does that mean?
It's a nice question.
I think I somehow feel that, yes, because we are doing so many educations international wise, and we have a lot of contact with different Gestalt therapists all over Europe. and we are. I also have in Estonia. We have a Gestalt Union. We are not so many people there, but we lately met again at a nice summer day. It was at one member's home, and we were also presenting some poems and some games. Everyone needed to bring something along, a game or something nice. So it's that I feel there is this belonging, but it could be stronger. It could be stronger, and I think through our center we also like to strengthen that feeling of being together, because this if we have an institution in Estonia would create a very much different field when the institute or the school is in Denmark, because we get our education there, but then you come back and you are somehow alone, and union can't do everything for the people. So our wish is also to connect and to create a community of belonging, of support, of inspiration, finding maybe new possibilities to learn further and go further, and also to invite international teachers, lecturers from all over the world to Estonia. This is our vision for future, that to be connected, to create something together. And also maybe you want to share something about our European Union project.
Yeah, but maybe I have, let's say, three grounds. One ground is, of course, in Germany. I'm a member of the German Association. And that is not only because I'm a member, I also I'm going to every conference, and for me it's very important. For me it's like a family. Yes, every year we have a conference, and I also do some pro bono work, and it's very important. I was 1 month ago, 6 weeks ago, we had our meeting, and to be together with more than 230 Gestalt therapists and working together, have a party together, drinking a coffee together, that it's very important. This is very important for me. I feel it's very important, of course, professionally, that to share experience, to share theory, to share approaches and methods, and so on and so on, and to discuss a lot of topics, and but also emotional wise. So it's nice, and every time I meet new people, and so meanwhile I have a good network in Germany, and that is very important for me. Of course, I have now, I'm building up my network here also in Estonia for our school, and it's very nice also to be aware, okay, where are the differences, and of course we need for our school, we need trainer, therapist, supervisor, and for us it's very important to include them. It's not only our work, it's of course it's a work of a team, yes. And what is also important, as we also already mentioned, we have started some years ago in Italy our education with the School of Spagnolo Lop, and I think that was quite important, because through this education we have met a lot of people. Unfortunately, the pandemic time came across, and that's what was bad, because in this hybrid way or only via screen, it's not the same. So the last time we were in Rome, it was quite nice to meet people, and so it's good. And the result of that is that we decided to do a European project, and to ask for subsidies for our project, and we doing that also with Gestalt therapists and organization from other countries. So, and it's there through this connection and being and looking also for connection, not waiting. Oh, maybe there's somebody who is asking me something. No, go there, asking, discussion, have a discussion, and we hope that we will win this project. We are now working on for the application, and we met this group. We produce this group through our knowledge about the Gestalt network. This was very helpful.
Well, good luck with that. I
Yeah,
hope it
thank
goes well. So, I mean, I sometimes ask, what is coming next for you, but I think you've both been very clear about a lot of things that you're developing, which sound very exciting. So I would just ask to close, do you have a question for each other?
Oh, let's breathe. What is your new project idea?
Oh no, please.
She has so much.
Yeah, I want to write
yes.
a book, and I want to start this social campaign against violence in Estonia. And I have also one actress who was very interested of that and would like to create it as a play one day, that we can maybe reach more people with that topic. And then we wanted to get married also.
If we have time
If we have time, this is we have a problem with that
next year.
next year. Yeah, hopefully.
So there's a marriage proposal in here somewhere.
It happened already. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we wanted to do this year, but unfortunately there were some
Some projects to
project
do.
project first.
Yeah.
So do you have a question?
Yes.
What?
Will you come to walk with me?
Yes, this is what we have. We have a ritual. Every evening we do a walk here, and that is our discussion walk and question walk, and
Yeah. We are talking a lot. Sometimes we are
Yeah.
talking through the nights, so it's very hard to work next day. Yeah.
how to avoid buying new books.
That's a problem. We have a problem because meanwhile he doesn't have space at his home in Germany. Everything is filled with books. Now he's filling that place here with books, and we need to extend the house because books don't fit anymore in. We have new problems. He's creating us new problems
Yeah, of
through
course.
his maniac reading issues.
man.
Wonderful.
Yes.
It's wonderful. It's creating new problems together. That sounds beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, well, should I let you go for your walk then?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I
Thank
hope
you.
it was
Thank
also
you.
for you.
Yes,
Somehow.
it was lovely to meet you. I'm enjoying seeing a couple together that's not in therapy with me. So thank you. Yes, it was really lovely to meet you. And why don't we leave this here?